Okay, so on this problem, we're wanting to subtract those fractions. So what's the deal with adding and subtracting fractions? You know you have to get common denominators, right? You know what I mean? Like suppose you were adding a half and a third. Why can't we just add the two tops, 1 and 1 is 2, and add the two bottoms, 2 and 3 is 5? Why can't we do that? Isn't that right? And you know that's not right, because just think about real life. What if you had, just think about, for example, a candy bar. I always do a candy bar. You had a candy bar, and you say, yeah, I ate half of the candy bar, right? And then later I ate a third of the candy bar. You know, I ate a half a candy bar plus I ate a third of the candy bar. Does that mean you ate 2/5 of the candy bar? No way, 2/5 is less than half, isn't it? How could they add up to be less than half when you already ate a half here and then had some more after that? How could half a candy bar and a third of a candy bar add up to be less than half a candy bar? So I'm just showing to you why we can't do it that way, because that's just plain wrong. We just sense that's not true. Well, what do you do then? Well, what you have to do, I think you know, is you got to break it into sixths. You're going to break it in half and each of these into thirds. You're going to break it into 6 pieces, because that's the common denominator for 2 and 3, isn't it? And then you got to come to this guy and you got to multiply top and bottom by 3. And to this guy, top and bottom by 2. Right? And then what do we get? Bringing this down here, this is 3/6. And this is right here, 2/6. Right? So here's 3/6 of the candy bar, which is half of the candy bar. Clearly. And here's 2/6 of the candy bar, which is a third. That's 1/3 of the whole thing, isn't it? 2 pieces is 1/3 of the whole thing. And they add up to be 5/6 of the candy bar. We can see that's just true. So you've got to make the two denominators the same. And you've got to, and then when you add them up, you add the tops only. Notice we didn't add the bottoms, did we? Why not? Because it's not true. Right? We don't add these to get 12. That would be wrong, because it's just not true. All right, so I'm just proving to you that when we add fractions, we have to get a common denominator, add or subtract. It's required. It's just simply what's true. So let me bring it over here and take 1 over x plus 3 minus 1 over x plus 4. And I'm going to get a common denominator. Now, it's harder when you've got these like x expression things. I mean, it's a little bit weird, isn't it? How do we do that when you've got x expressions? Well, basically, you've got to multiply by the other guy. So I've got to multiply top and bottom of this one by x plus 4. And top and bottom of this one by x plus 3. Why? Because see how they're the same now? See how I made the two denominators the same by multiplying by the other denominator. They both have the same thing now, don't they? That's what we've got to do, get a common denominator. Okay, so then what becomes of that? This 1 is going to distribute. Okay, and then I'll bring this part over, minus 1 x plus 3, like that, okay. And then in the denominator, I've got x plus 4 and x plus 3. Do we see what's happening there? Is that making good sense on that? So we've got a common denominator. Both those denominators are the same. So we can make them one fraction. Okay, so now this minus 1 has to distribute, doesn't it? So what do we get? X plus 4 minus 1x minus 3. Everybody see what happened there? On the top, that minus 1 had to distribute through the x plus 3. You might wonder, where did the minus 1 come from? Right here, minus 1. See that? Okay, and what's on the bottom? X plus 4, X plus 3. Okay, now these guys cancel. X minus X. 4 minus 3 is 1. Let's bring it over here. It's 1 over X plus 4, X minus 3. And that's our answer. So that's how we do it. So top and bottom, so from the beginning, top and bottom by the other denominator. Top and bottom by the other denominator, like that. Right? So from the very first step, multiply top and bottom by the other denominator, makes the two denominators the same, common denominator. You got to get a common denominator. And then watch out, you don't forget to distribute this minus 1. That's probably the most common mistake people make. They'll forget that the minus sign has to go to both. So watch out for that. So there we go.